Hey y'all, welcome to Sweet Talk. This is Kansi here with Sweet Talk. Welcome to our first episode of Sweet Talk. Sweet Talk is where we talk about sweets and share tips and tricks on how to run a successful baking business. So if you're new here, welcome and consider subscribing to my channel. And do not forget to turn on the notification button so that you know when I put out any new content. I'll be giving you a few tips on how to start a baking business from home. But before I do that, I would give you a brief story of how I started. For your information, I have a detailed story of how I started on my website, so you want to check that out. So let's get started. I had always loved baking. I've been baking right from childhood, but I was baking for the fun of it and not for profit's sake. So every time I baked these goods, I would always want family and friends to get them from me for some change, which I never got up till this date. And the truth is, really do not know why I was asking them to even give me some change in the first place. I guess in my head, I was always like, to be able to bake some of these things the next day, I would have money to bake them again, right? So I guess that was why I was always asking for money, but I never got that. Because really, it wasn't for business. So right now I'm thinking, why was I even asking for money in the first place? So it was unnecessary. Long story short, 19 years ago, I baked my wedding cake. I took the risk of baking my wedding cake. I wanted something extraordinary. I baked 15 tiers of cake for my wedding. I don't know if you know what that means. There's a difference between tiered and tier. Tier cake is the one you stack together, right? While tiered cake are the separate ones you have on a cake table. Maybe the cake stand, it's branching out. You have like a cake stand as long as this, and you have other parts of the stand branching out, and you have cake on every part of the branches, right? That is tiered cake. They are all separated, but on the same table, but are all separated. So I had 7 tiered cake on the cake table on the day of my wedding, and the other 8 tiered were cut for the guests. I wanted to be ahead of the wedding. I couldn't imagine how a bride would bake her wedding cake, and I was just trying to avoid finding myself on the cake, having to take decisions during my wedding day on the cake, or having to be called upon to talk about the cake or do something about the cake as the bride, right? I wanted to sit down as the bride with my hubby and pretend not to have anything to do with the cake, right? So that was why I walked ahead. So I contacted a company that produced some, like the treat boxes. They made me some squared beautiful boxes for the cake, and they printed my hubby's name and my name on the box. So what I did was we packaged all the cakes in the boxes. We cut them earlier before the wedding started, so that I would not have anything to do with the cake. I guess the hotel that was in charge of the wedding event, as in the food, everything, they had to distribute all of those, and that was how I was able to escape from that responsibility of being called upon or having anything to do with the cake. So I just baked it and decorated it and got everything ready before the wedding. So like I said, you can check the full detail on my website. Okay, let's jump right into the few tips that I have for you today. I have 6 tips on how to start a baking business from home. Number 1, you want to do your due diligence and research on the cottage food law on your state. So what you want to do is type in your state, the cottage food law of my state. For instance, I am in Texas, right? So what I want to do is cottage food law in Texas. So the reason you want to research on that and be aware of every law concerning food before you start your baking business is not to default in any way. If you know the law, the rules and regulation binding what you want to do, it will help you act right. And some of the reasons you want to know, you want to research the law guiding your state concerning food, it's to know the baked goods you're supposed to sell. It's not all baked goods that are allowed for you to sell. Some states, all states are different. You don't want me to start telling you what my state allows. It's better for you to research what your state allows. And it is okay with you, then we are good to move on to the next stage. The next stage for me, the next stage will be number 2, to choose a business name. Y'all, you want to do your due diligence, you want to research a business name that fits your business, right? I would advise you pick a business name that would not restrict you, should in case you decide to branch out. What do I mean by that? For instance, you decide to start with cupcakes and with intention to expand or branch out to other baked goods later as you get used to the business or the baking skills, right? You don't want to go with, if for instance my name is Lucy, you don't want to go with Lucy Cupcakes. You want to go with probably Lucy Sweets. Why? Because you are doing sweets, right? Sweets will enable you branch out whenever you decide to. Okay, if you pick Lucy Cupcakes and later you decide to branch out, doing well and decide to branch out, decide to start making bread, decide to start making larger cakes, decide to start making other desserts that come with baking. Now you see how the cupcake thing, it's a bit restricting. That's what I think. So but if you go with Lucy Sweets, whenever you branch out, it's still gonna, the sweets there is still gonna complement the name, not making it look like a restricted thing. Also make sure you are picking a name that has not been used. Trust me, you'll be amazed. Your name, your last name, your native name, your whatever name, it's been used. That's why you wonder when you see certain names that people have for their businesses, you're wondering, how in the world did this person come about this name? There's the reason. Because so many names have been taken. That's why you see someone want to go with, this is cake. That's a business name. I know how to make cake. Now they are making their names look like a statement and not a name. Because most names have been taken. So what I'm trying to say is, when you are picking a name, try to pick something that really someone has not taken. You really want to do your due diligence here, so that And because if you don't do this, if you pick a name that has been taken, that someone is already using, you will end up, it will keep misleading people. Misleading people in the sense that when somebody has the intention to order from you and goes to Google to say, oh, Lucy's cake or Lucy cake, and puts that in on Google, and Google pulls out Lucy's cake, it might probably be your next door neighbor that is also baking with that name. But because the person thinks or knows that you told her is Lucy's cake, the person goes ahead to place her order. Also, as someone that is starting out, I would advise you start with DBA, doing business as. DBA is not so much of a work for someone that is just starting out. You will not be required to do so much. DBA is just of a very little money to start with. Just do check with your local, check with your states, know how much they charge. Sometimes you might even be paying just $10 to register to do your DBA. It's not a big deal, right? Some of the reasons why you want to start not really on a very high scale, it's because you are still checking the business. You want to know if really these things are for you, if this is what you want to do, if this is the route you want to go. Number 3, you want to start getting your equipment. So, concerning equipment, I'm not going to stress this enough. You don't want to get everything you see in the market. You'll be tempted to. So it is better to get the essentials, the very few essentials, and go with things that are not really on the high end. Go with things that really you can afford as a beginner. There are options. Don't go with, oh, because I have a KitchenAid mixer, you want to go with a KitchenAid. No, you can start with a hand mixer. Because right now at this stage, you are still trying to see, testing if this is the route you want to go, right? Now, the 4th thing you want to do is start advertising your business. Start telling. I would advise you start with family and friends. Start telling them, oh, I started a new business, I'm baking, but you want to start with, let's give people some of your baked goods for the first time, first few weeks. Let families, let friends try some of your baked goods and let them tell you their request for their honest opinion. Okay? You want to know what they think about your baked goods. You want to be able to know what to adjust and what not to adjust. Remember that you do not want to bake everything you see. I would advise you choose few items to start with. Maybe 3 items. Like if you want to start baking cakes, make cupcakes, and probably cake pops. Don't start making brownies, cheesecakes, and chicken pies, and meat pies, and just restrict yourself to 3 items. That would help you concentrate, okay? And that will help you focus. So until you perfect the 3 items you're starting with, then you're used to the market, you're okay with it, you are happy with it, you are comfortable with people, you know how to handle stuff, you know how to bake without being under pressure, you know how to handle, you know how to work with your time, you know how to do all this stuff, then you can now decide to branch out. Branching out, for me, it should be a process. Can I say, okay, I got it. With those 3 items I started with, I got it. Now I can add whatever you want to add to it. It could be brownies. It could be cookies. Then you can add 2 more or even 1. Okay? Branching out. Don't start with, I get it. I get it. Sometimes you have customers that would request for this, for that, for... No. Don't let your customers push you around. Don't let them push you around, y'all. Tell them. Be bold enough to tell them what you do. Oh, I'm sorry, I do not provide brownies. I do not provide cookies at this time. This is what I provide. I provide only cupcakes, cakes, and cake pops. I mean, when your customers get used to the stuff you provide, these are the only stuff they would request or ask you to bake for them. But when they tempt you, when your customers start coming with different stuff, asking you to make different, and if you accept it, you keep getting more of them asking you different stuff, and it will make you lose focus. As a beginner, if you lose focus, 1, you're not gonna like what you're doing. 2, you might think, oh, this is not the business you want to do. 3, you will completely be derailed. Okay, the 5th tip that I'll be having for you is, do not take last minute order. Make sure to have a policy in place. The reason I'm telling you this is, if you do not, you will get in trouble with your customers. You must know your do's and your don'ts. If you have a policy in place, let your customers read your policy. Let them agree to your policy. Let them accept it before you do business with them. If not, you will end up speaking a lot of English, a lot of Pidgin, a lot of Spanish, a lot of whatever language you are communicating with your customer, you are communicating to your customer with, and this will linger for days. So to avoid all of this, you want to make sure there is a policy in place. Do not take last minute order. If you do, you will have yourself to blame. Trust me. Firstly, you will not give your very best. Secondly, you definitely would work under pressure. Make sure to know your time limits. Make sure to know when you are not supposed to take an order. It doesn't matter if that person is your mother. Trust me, it doesn't matter. If that person is your sister-in-law or brother-in-law, or my bestie, just give birth to a baby, I need to present her with a baby shower. All of a sudden, it's so amazing to me that people suddenly realize they'll have to get a cake for the event. Like if the event is tomorrow, they are calling you tonight. They are calling you today. A day before. Y'all, what I do not have a storefront yet. Have you ever thought of that? And it's okay if you have a storefront now. They can come in at any time to pick up what they want. Even with a storefront, you still need to order that stuff because it's called custom, right? You need to order the stuff. You need to give time for most especially for a customer that is requesting that you put this character or you put this stuff or you put some of these things. You have to order them, right? So do not take last minute order with the intention that, oh, you'll be able to beat the time. If you are not able to give your best, the same customer that forced you to do this work out of your busy schedule, out of your tight schedule, will be the same person to go writing you up, to go telling others, oh, she not good. She not good. She would not give you what you want. Oh, she's not gonna be ready when you need your cake. Oh, that. Why? Because you took the order. You're working under pressure. You took the order out of your when you did not have the time. When you have other things, you have to. You want to look. You must not eat your cake and have it. Let the same customer that actually forgot that he or she is having an event tomorrow go to a nearby grocery store or whoever or whatever bakery that is available to give her a quick job. Do it. Don't take such order, because you will end up messing your business, giving yourself a bad name, and still not be able to produce. You don't want to do that to yourself, okay? So my 5th tip is, do not disappoint your customers. Make sure you are able to deliver at the stipulated time. So you take orders that you are able to deliver. If you know right in your senses, in your mind, in your head, that you will not be able to deliver this thing, or this is gonna be too much for you, or you can't even handle this cake, or you can't do this, do not take such order. It will not do you no good. Okay? Now this brings me to my last tip. I kept this for the last. Pricing. Pricing has caused so much controversy, so much. Yo, help me out here. Tell me what pricing has caused. It has caused so much controversy. When it comes to pricing, you really have to stand your ground, y'all. 1, be bold enough to set your price for a product you are offering. That is not me saying that you should charge too high or too less. No. Charge moderately, but make sure you charge what your product is worth. Trust me, your customer will push you to charge them next to nothing as you are doing business, but you are not able to pay your bills. The same way your customer goes to work is the same way you are doing your business to be able to pay your bills, right? That is not me saying, oh, because I want to pay my bills, if a cake is $20, I should charge $50. No, that is not what I'm saying. At this point, you should be able to differentiate custom cakes from store-bought cakes, from regular grocery cake. You should know what you are providing to your customers. You should be able to differentiate it. It's so amazing to me that so many people at this point and age, they don't even know what custom cakes are. It's so amazing to me. And now this set of people that do not know the difference between custom cakes and regular store-bought cake, they would come and make so much trouble with you. When you give them a price, they are quick to tell you, oh, this is not the price it is sold at a regular store. Now, if you knew the price at the regular store, why did you come to me in the first place? Y'all, look, I don't know. I hope I'm really sounding right. I do not have any intention whatsoever to be rude in what I'm saying, but it's so sympathetic that people are yet to understand what I am saying right now. Look, there's a difference between custom cakes and store-bought cakes. Now you may ask, what is the difference? Custom cakes, I'm designing it specially for you, just you. I didn't make the cake to keep it. I didn't make the cake ahead, kept it for days, for months, for whatever time you will need it, for whatever time that I will be lucky enough to get someone that needs it, and the person would get it, irrespective of the fact of if the cake it's already having a weird taste or not. This cake was specially prepared for you and customed to your taste and design. It's not the same thing as you walked into a store and you are seeing the product. I am not discrediting store-bought cakes here. That is not what I'm doing. I'm not discrediting nothing. But I'm only showing you and giving you the difference. This is not the same thing as you walked into a store. You are seeing cakes that have been out for days, have been in the freezer for months, and were brought out for your decoration. I'm not editing anything here. All I can say to you is, custom cakes were specially baked, designed to your taste, and customed to your liking. No preservatives, nothing to keep it from decaying. Not custom cake is a custom cake. But it's okay if you're not used to it. Ask questions. And if you are told, it is so amazing that you will see this same set of people that do not know the difference between custom cakes from store-bought cake. They will come and go like, oh, her prices are high. Yes, that is why it's custom. Trust me, you are not even paying for the cake per se. What you are paying for is for my ingredients and my time. Now let's assume you go to work and you are paid $20 per hour. And now let's assume I have spent, you are paying $20 or even $10 an hour for a job. This is the same way I should be able to calculate my pricing with you. Now I have spent, you gave me your order, I have spent 4 hours, 5 hours, depending on the kind of job that I'm doing for you, and you expect me to charge you $20 because store-bought cake is sold for $20. You have forgotten that. Let's assume for this 4 to 5 hours, I'm charging you $10 per hour, which truly is not worth it. $10 per hour. Remember, you might go like, oh, what are you doing with 4 to 5 hours making? I'm gonna bake the cake, I'm gonna decorate, I'm gonna do, let's assume, depending on the work, the intensity of the job that I'm doing for you, let's just assume it is 4 to 5 hours. I spent 4 to 5 hours getting your work ready and done. Now, and let's also assume that you are paying me, I'm charging $10 per hour. Now, $10 per hour, I'm already charging you $40 to $50, right? Okay, let's talk about the ingredients. Let's assume the ingredients plus the characters, the whatever you have used has cost us another $30, and now I'm charging you $70 to $80. Now, do you see, this is just a brief history of how it really works with custom cakes. You go to work and you are being paid per hour on a job. Now you expect me to spend 4 hours standing on my feet doing your job. You expect me to be paid $20 because store-bought cake is sold for $20. Now, the same you that didn't understand how it works will be the one to go to others to say, oh, her cakes are on the high side. That tells me that you don't even know what custom cakes are. It is okay. It is okay, but I'm here to tell you custom cakes are different from store-bought cakes. So if you have not known the difference this past years, please know the difference now. And if you cannot afford custom cakes, it's okay. Then go for store-bought cakes. They are delicious. They are good. I do not have problems with that. But I am charging you what my cake is worth. If you cannot afford it, it's okay. This is why if you go to my website, I have a price, my price guide. This is to help people know, look, this is what you might likely be paying for your cake. But we still have so many people that know what custom cakes are. These ones, they make your work so easy because they know. Trust me, they know. They know. Once they come, you tell them tell me, why would I, if the worth of the work you want me to do is $30, why would I tell you $50? Tell me, of what good would that be to me? Of what good would that be to me? It's so amazing to me when this discussion keeps coming up. Look, I do not have time for that no more. I'm talking to you beginners because you will come across so many of this. Try not to argue with them. Try not to talk too much about it. Let them know this is what my cake is worth. If you cannot afford it, and maybe this same person is telling you how much it's sold at the store or how much the grocery store sells it, tell them, yeah, you can get it from there. That is fine. Be polite about it. Then when I was just starting out, I would go like, okay, if you cannot pay this amount of money, do you want to pay this? And do you want to? I do not have that time anymore. The reason being that I have so much work to do. I turn down others. Why? Because I can only take so much, y'all. I can only take so much. I don't want to disappoint no one, and I don't want to get in trouble with no one. So if I have so much already, I cannot take your order. This is the reason I ask that you give me enough time to be able to accommodate your order. I don't want people running to me. If your event is tomorrow, you are running to me today and trying to force me to do what I cannot. Beginners, I'm talking to y'all, because you will fall into these traps. You will want since this week I have not sold anything, let me just take it. You will end up still not selling that cake. In fact, you will be in trouble for that cake. Don't take it. Don't take it. Don't take it. I said don't take it. Thank you. So, what am I saying? Again, do not give your customers discount. There's nothing like discount. Just give them what your cake is worth. Do not encourage discounts. When you start giving them discounts, the discounted customers will be the ones that will be attracted to you. They would even send their discounted followers. Oh, that lady gives discount. Go to her. Definitely you will get a discount. No. Be bold enough to tell people your price. Be bold enough to charge what your cake is worth. Be bold enough to tell them, oh, this cake is $20. This cake is $50. This cake is $1,000. Be bold enough. The job you are doing determines the amount you are charging for the cake. Trust me, go check other custom cakes like you. You will be surprised you are even charging half of what they charge. All these things, we have done all this research. And we have done all this research and we know. This brings me to the end of the Sweet Talk. And I will be back next week to speak with you on a topic that you will love. Please bring in your questions on baking or whatever you think that is similar to the things I have, the tips that I have shared with you, so that we can address them together. And I'll see y'all on the other side. Thanks and God bless.